Good morning, Orchard Avenue staff and students, and welcome back after spring break. We are so glad to see you. Take a moment to settle in and listen to our YEP Talk. As we transition back from the break, we're going to pause and reflect on all the amazing work we have done in YEP Talks and Friday Reflections so far this year. YEP Talks are one important way that our whole school learns together, and boy, have we done a lot of learning. As you know, we have focused many of our YEP Talks on executive functions, or EFs. Did you know that all of the adults in our building have been learning about EFs too and working on their own EFs? That's right, adults at Orchard Avenue are learners as well. Remember that executive functions are a set of skills that help you as a learner and as a human. Here is one way that I like to think about EFs, or executive functions. Imagine that your brain is a busy airport. There's a lot going on. Many different planes are taking off and landing. Sometimes there is a thunderstorm that can delay planes from being able to land or take off. Executive functions are like the air traffic controller at a busy airport. The air traffic controllers are responsible for keeping all the pilots and planes organized. They make plans and prioritize which planes should take off and land, and when. When something doesn't go as planned, they have to use EF skills like flexibility to make a different plan. Your EF skills do the same thing for your brain. EFs help direct our brain and our creativity so we can achieve our goals and be strong learners, kind classmates, and better human beings. This year, we've learned about some really important EFs. We started by understanding emotional control, which means managing our feelings so we can be productive and successful. Remember that all emotions matter, and we are emotion scientists, not emotion judges. We practice using the mood meter to identify and label our emotions. Remember, we said if you can name it, you can tame it. Then we also learned strategies to regulate our emotions, like positive self-talk, breathing, and using a mantra. Emotional control is a really important EF that we can continue to practice. Next, we learned about the executive function called managing impulses. Managing impulses means thinking before we act and resisting the urge to say or do certain things. We learned the strategy of stop, think, and act to help manage our impulses. Managing our impulses is such a great way to take care of ourselves and others. In October, we talked about a really important EF, and that was flexibility. When we're flexible with our thinking, we can see many sides of an idea or situation and adapt and change our thinking. Flexible thinking is the opposite of rigid thinking. Something that is rigid is unable to change or adapt. When we are rigid with our thinking, we may not consider other ideas or be able to change or adapt our thinking to solve a problem. The EF of flexibility can help us solve learning problems and also problems we might have with others. So being flexible is definitely a great way to show YEP. Another EF we've learned about is metacognition. Metacognition means noticing how we are doing and thinking about our thinking. A big part of metacognition is knowing yourself as a learner. You might ask, what am I good at as a learner? What's hard for me as a learner? Metacognition is not what you need to learn, but it is thinking about how you learn best. We learned that asking ourselves questions before, during, and after learning can help us build our metacognition. Building our metacognition is a great way to show the why in YEP. We also learned about goal-directed persistence. Goal-directed persistence means setting a meaningful goal and then following through on the completion of our goal without being distracted by other things. When we show goal-directed persistence, we stay focused on our goal and we stick with things even when they're hard. We also learned that the EF of planning and prioritizing can help us reach our goals. When we plan, we create a roadmap to reach a goal. And when we prioritize, we decide what is important to focus on and what is not. Planning and prioritizing can definitely help us reach our goals. Wow, we have learned so much about executive functions this year. I hope you will pause to reflect on all the learning you have done. How has building your EF skills helped you to show YEP? How have these skills helped you as a learner and as a human being? Which ones are you still working on? This week, Mrs. Neese will be on the lookout for learners who can share an EF or an executive function that has really helped them be a stronger learner, kinder classmate, and better human being, and also help them show YEP. Have a wonderful week, Orchard Avenue.